Hee hee, I have a long time to catch you. Tran Hung caught you too. That's enough. Just kidding. Listen to me. After dinner, go back to practice. I haven't even trained the basics yet. Master, when you are old, will take my place to protect you. The two brothers returned to the training room together. Ten goodness in the mind constantly thinking. Right now, I have no chance to win. If you meet a monster, like the devil the other day, wear the power of resistance. Your will and energy are in the air. Without using the power of the seed of hell, we must defeat the enemy with one blow. The next time I have to try it the next time. Tran Hung stood outside the hallway. In his hand now appeared a gas martyr. Feel the state of yourself. He looked up at the ceiling and sighed. I'm really dead. The next day, the new god's escort has finally arrived. East Day, this young man is the disciple of the 5 demons. The leader of the escort this time. He looked at the guards next to him and said, You don't need an escort anymore. Take yourselves to the governor's house. The guards don't twist the chain. Follow the carriage ahead. The young man turned his head in the other direction. He just walked by the two brothers. 10 people are eating noodles. 10 when she saw him, she ate bread. Immediately stop. The eyes stared at him. 10 good people see that and ask curiously, what's going on? In everyone's eyes, the young man is completely normal. But in the eyes of 10, there was something on his head. Here Caca asked. She didn't hide it, but immediately said, There's something sitting on his head. The two brothers then immediately got up and followed him. The monster on the young man's head felt it too. And then a reminder. There are 2 children following you. The young man laughed, I know. Then 2 hands immediately pressed the decision. 8 duplex arts. Follow him to decide. The 2 children in the back immediately opened their mouths. I see the young man in front of me right now. That turned into 2. Then the 2 bodies. Everyone goes into an alley. 10 when he saw that, he did not know what to do. What do we have to do now? 10 calmly replied, Follow him into the alley. The 2 brothers then walked into the alley together. Waiting for them to come in, the monster on the young man's head spoke. I've cut off their tails. The young man nodded. Now go find the martial artist who is protecting you. I have something to ask him. The confident monster nodded quickly. And then he sniffed up his nose. The roads in this area, everywhere is filled with the air of martial artists. Check this out. Here he is. 2 10-year-old brothers are now following the young Kier into a dead end. He glanced at the 2 children behind him, laughing coldly, then slowly disappear in front of them. 10 seeing that, I turned to ask 10 questions. We have the wrong goal, and we have to do it now. 10 good things to think then say. Go back to the master. Tran Hung is currently sitting by the window of the inn, drinking alcohol. Suddenly, he looked a little surprised down. Underneath the blonde Kier was looking here. He is also staring at him. Then he slowly went inside. Jen saw him go in. My face is a little tense. Young man, after entering the monster on his head. Speak up a reminder. There's a talisman outside this inn to prevent strangers from entering. So there's nothing to worry about. They're not going to hurt civilians in combat. The young man heard that and nodded. At this time, Chen Hong also came down from the top. Hey, you can get in here. Prove you're also a martial artist. What are you doing in East Asia? The young man heard that and immediately got angry. Why don't you ask the people you cheated on to die in hell? The three Taoists are like a green fire. Out of the young man's hands. Hit towards Tran Hung. Tran Hung quickly jumped up to avoid. Watch the fire slowly disappear. Tran Hung is amazing. The walls and stairs are unaffected. What kind of attack is this? Young man in front. Don T give him a chance to think long. Once again unleashed countless flares like that. Hit towards him. His attack. There is absolutely no way to hit it by Tran Hung. Because Tran Hung's body is very fast. One blink avoided it all. Look at the young man in front of you. Tran Hung began to estimate the distance. It's about 20 feet. He immediately deployed the Air Force. Strengthen yourself. Then quickly rush to the young man. The young man did not have time to react. Chen Xing appeared in front of him. The young man could not escape and shouted. 5 devil guardians of the flashlight. Follow his scream. Tran Hung. You feel something in your body that's not right. The attack was also slowed down. The last trick was not as expected. It cannot end the youth. Then the two of you stood still and glanced at each other. The young man's neck now had a cut. Fresh blood doesn't stop shooting out. Chen Hung also suddenly spat out a sip of fresh blood. The young man touched the blood on his neck. Deep without speaking. The monster in the head is worried. No, it's just a skin wound. It doesn't affect much. Chen Hung looked at the hand that was constantly shaking. His aesthetic. This is the Sao bug, but since when? The young man saw the face of the enemy. It's a little bit interesting. He seems to be more worried. They must poison us without panicking. Nu he he. The monster on my head reminded me. Don't ignore this guy. He's covered in deadly gas. Poisonous insects don't cause him much trouble. The young man is extremely confident. Don't worry, when we double the toxicity in the air, he has no chance to stand. My body has now turned yellow. He looked at the young man and said, I understand from the previous heads. Right, you can release the poison around you. Even if we're not hit. When the concentration of toxicity in the air goes up, I'd poison myself through breathing, right? When the young man heard the object, he smiled and nodded. That's what it is. Tran Hung still does not understand the question. We've never answered for poison. Who sent you here? The young man shouted again. I said, go down to hell and ask. Look at the fire that's coming. Tran Hung in the heart of aesthetics is gone. You have to try it. The 5th stage is activated. According to the Heaven and Earth Air France is triggered. Tran Hung immediately before the fire hit Deem struck out. Then suddenly appeared behind the young man. He's in an enhanced state right now. A full body punch like a thin loy. The young man immediately fell to the ground. The young man was attacked by Tran Hung. Beat for unconscious. Where the monster sits on top of him, he's the same. After the settlement, Tran Hung has just solved the natural gas law. In the mouth spewing out a sip of poisonous smoke. This guy is weird. He talks too hard. His toxicity has been quite dilute. He didn't really want to kill me or anything. Just thought of this, outside the sound of calling the master of the 10. Master, we met a stranger on the street. But when she ran back in front of Tran Hung, it was immediately amazing. Only the young man lying on the ground screamed. He is Tran Hung turned his head to look at 10 good. He is this guy. 10 face virtues seriously nodding. After a while, the young man slowly woke up. His monster has now been captured by Chen Hung. It doesn't stop screaming. Let me go, can you hear me? You seem too hot to see. He opened his eyes 10 years ago. Go quickly to observe. Determined he was top. 10 he turned his head and looked at Tran Hung shouting. Master, he's awake. Tran Hung heard that. No more playing with the monster. Throw it for the competition. Then slowly go back to the young man. The Chinese government has rules. A martial artist not recognized by the Ding dynasty to attack a martial artist who had been court-appointed. You're going to be executed. You have two choices. Or I'll give you to the court. Can you explain why Sao attacked us for them? Or Monday? Tran Hung just talked about this. The young man quickly interrupted. I chose option 2. Tran Hung also did not speak anymore, nodding. Then from the sleeve hangs out a stinger. Then go to the back of the young man. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions if you're lying. This silver needle is going to hit the acupressure point just behind. The neck will be activated. I will instill this life sign in you. Don't worry, it doesn't feel good. The young man looked at him in a sweat. Ask. Tran Hung did not hesitate to ask. Why did you attack me? If anyone behind you asks, please tell me his name. The young man with his face down. No one asked me. You killed my master, and I'm here to avenge you. That's all there is to it. Your master is the 5 demons. Tran Hung heard the name of 5 demons. Taoist was surprised. Open your mouth. 5 Taoist demons. Why do you think I killed him? I've asked a lot of places. Guizhou government gathered martial arts masters from many places to suppress the monster. There is such a strong team. It can't be defeated. Unless those monsters are at disaster level. But what happened? My master and the others died. Only you are safe to return. Do you dare to claim that? Body does not lie. Tran Hung did not answer and asked again. Your teacher didn't tell you. How dangerous is that mission? Or why young people hear that is gaping out of their mouths? Tran Hung asked again. You didn't ask the local government. So many people have died in the East. The young man quickly responded to the old headquarters, moved somewhere else. The new headquarters. I don't have any information about that mission. Chen Hong heard that and fell into silence. So the temple has hidden everything about the spirit. They must be afraid that this news will shake the nobility. After a moment, he looked at the 2 disciples. 2 brothers. When I heard him call, I looked back. Come out first. I have something to tell him. The 2 of you immediately obey and go out. Wait until the kids are gone. Things in the East are not as simple as you think. The young man hurried to explain. What kind of monster is that strong? You can take a group. They're all high-class A's like that. Tran Hung faintly said rubber disaster-level words. When the young man finished listening, he stood with 2 big faces. Tran Hung then continued to speak. We can't tell the details. But if you don't believe, I'll take you to see someone in the government. He was also present in that case. I have no reason to lie to you. If your master really dies in my hands, then the bar. He must have brought me back to court. The young man finished listening. After a moment, he raised his head and said, Take me to that person. A moment later, he was taken by Tran Hung to see the exile. After a while of talking, he said, According to speculation, someone standing in the dark and help the Eastern Queen. This is a mysterious force. Can work right in front of the mule bar. Without anyone knowing. Whatever their purpose is, it's a mystery. Obviously, the monster in the East is just the beginning. There will be more similar monsters in Hainan. Until they reach their goal. Tran Hung also looked at the young man. Kier said, If you want to avenge your master, you need to practice more. Our enemy is a mysterious organization with a history of at least hundreds of years. A dreamer like you. You can't protect yourself from these guys. When the young man heard that, he bowed his head. Tran Hung continued with the current ability. If you get involved, you will die. Angry young man biting his teeth. I know, but it's hard. If you just sit around doing nothing. Please take me to Master's body. I want to take him home and bury him. Save the wind. Turn around and ask for Tran Hung's opinion. I saw Tran Hung nod his head. He looked at the young man. If so, follow me. 3 people led each other to the morgue. The bodies of the 5 demons were immediately removed. The young man saw his master. Then tears came out. Very quickly, he wiped away the tears from his face. Then take out an 8 from the side. After opening 8 Ra, start chanting. Demons, listen to my orders. According to his sound. The body of the 5 demons slowly swelled up. Then from his mouth. There's a blue devil out there. Then there's a blindfolded female demon. I saw 2 of them young. His face became a little sad. There's only the devil and the fake devil. The other 4 demons are starving. But at least the devil is still alive. The 2 Kier demons then slowly entered the 8 gold waiting. They went into the youth and closed the lid. Then put it inside your shirt. A moment later, the young man carried the coffin. The 2 of them went out into the forest. Before leaving, he didn't even forget to turn around and say goodbye. Watching the silhouette carry the coffin away, Tran Hung said, I guess he'll dig deeper. Once you reach level A, then he'll come back looking for revenge. The wind also nodded. I think so too. Suddenly, Chen Hung remembered something and asked. It's been a while. At Sao Lao Hak, Quan, and Nam Sun. Still haven't sent people to collect 10 of their bodies. If it's an open space, I don't know. But the Nanshan faction is worried about a family. Just left in their jurisdiction. The Taiyan government asked them to conduct all-out inspection immediately, in case it is caused by demons. There's no one in charge there. So the body retrieval is still delayed. Tran Hung heard that and asked, what is the family's last name leaving? To save the wind leisurely replied a million words. Move the scene to the Thai government. Outside the door of the $1 Million Academy. This man was one of the leaders of the Southern Mountain Party. Next to him was his disciple, the master. They're under orders from the governor. Bring people here to investigate. Look at the hospital for a moment. He turned his head and told his disciples, let's go ahead and unseal the spells. The people quickly started to move on. They split up, put charms on the door and stone lions outside. Then the young man stood out. Love makes a mess for me. According to his French decision. The 2 charms slowly burned up. Next, it's a smelly smell coming out of the inside. The magnificent and magnificent millions before. There are now 1 million old buildings. If you see this, you are angry. What the hell are the martial arts masters doing? They don't even know that. There are lovers who make sacrifices, living in their own territory or SAO. People then push the door in. Inside the ruins, there's an extraordinary silence. What's even more amazing is that it's daytime. But going into the interior turns into night. He looked at the scene in front of him and said, the student next to me was confused. I asked what the hell is the secret? Quick to explain. It's the ultimate martial art. It's only schools with a long history can be obtained. The last time I saw that piece is at the Pacifist Martial Arts Festival. The Lord asked again, what's so special about this technique? This is what makes its owner It can create a small space. That's where they can control. They can hide the small world. Has been chosen out of the world around. Time control change 8 fuck. Control of life and death in that small world. Money frequency. That this technique is most skillfully used. When you hear that, it means that you are amazed. The story of 1,000,000 women in Taiwan. It's connected to his case. I haven't finished yet. The wind has cut me off. It doesn't have to be. The Pacific is not the only time. A political party destroyed by catastrophic levels. Over the last 25 years. Maybe it's been weeks out. And learned by some bad guy. It's just that we don't understand the nectar they create. What is the purpose of being here? Nam-san sent us not capable to solve this complex. People standing there talking without even knowing it. In a grass not far away. A body was hiding there, staring at them. It's a ghost statue that millions worship in the house. Turn the scene to Tran Hung. Right now, he's continuing to teach his 2 disciples to practice. You've learned how to generate and collect air. Today, I'm going to teach you a real combat skill. It's called a gas capacitor. It's also called a visceral gas. The 2 of you heard that and were astonished. Take a look. When I finished speaking, there was air on the floor. And then he goes into an enhanced state. 10. I saw his body turn red. It's amazing. It's changed color. 10 good people are indifferent to this, you have learned. More. Let us go fight with the monsters one more time. Speed, strength, and endurance. It increases when you are in this state. The large amount of gas that surrounds people is the body gas. It's strong enough to break an ordinary sword. 10 good people now raise their hands to express their opinions. Master, if the effect of this technique is so great, why do we not maintain continuity in combat? Tran Hung immediately replied that it was impossible. This state consumes a lot of gas. Even myself, it only lasted about 100 seconds. While fighting the enemy. This trick, it can be seen as a winning decision. 10 good listening, then moody nod. Yes, I understand. I've seen a lot of players use many different ways to increase the duration of the vital gas. When the 2 of you heard that, they asked, how did they do that? Tran Hung quickly said. It's simple to say. They need to minimize activation time and respiratory gas recovery down to a very low level. When it's possible to collect the vital gas very quickly, then the amount of time it takes to maintain vital gas has increased a lot. Let's stop here. We don't know how either. Maybe some of our teachers know. But they're all dead. So I can only give you an overview. Find out for yourself the rest. 2. When you finished listening, your face became moody again. Okay, let's talk. Let's start practicing. We're going to teach the higher levels of household gases over time. For the children, turn the scene to the southern mountain people. They're still in the millions searching the garden. A moment in front of them, a child appeared. He's got his back to them. It's like not feeling their presence. People are going up to see it. It was blocked by the wind. Let's check the front with the sprouts and move on. When he finished, he pulled out some beans from his chest. And then directly to the ground. The beans fall to the ground and immediately germinate. The prince ordered, let them go up ahead and find their way. The sprouts quickly walked back to the Kier baby. They don't know how to stand in front of them.